Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hlubi and this is another episode of Hlubi's Corner. So in today's video, what I want to talk about is, as you can see by the title, is did matriculating with 6A's set me up for life? So I'll just give a little bit of background in terms of my schooling career from primary school up until Matric, because the purpose of this video is just looking at Matric specifically and how that specific point or that specific dot in my life has either opened doors or closed doors for me up until this point in my life. So just for a quick background, in primary school, I went to two primary schools. From grade R up until grade 3, I was at Harding Secondary School, which just sounds weird for it to have a secondary in the name of the school. But back then the school was, it accommodated from grade R up until Matric, and the school was called Harding Secondary School. Anyway, hi to everyone who knows me from Harding. Yeah, and then from grade 4 up until grade 7, I was at Addington Primary School. Good times. And then I did my high school in Durban Girls Secondary School in Durban. Oh my god, it's obviously in Durban. So there are a few things that I want to highlight in terms of my schooling career, especially things around influence. Remember in primary school, so Harding, we received corporal punishment at the school, and I think when I look at the difference between my performance at Harding and at Addington Primary, the reason behind me wanting to do well in school, in primary school when I was still in Harding, was really out of fear. It was out of fear because let's say we wrote a test out of 10 and you got 8 out of 10. You're gonna get 2 slashings across your hand for missing the 2 out of the 10. And I mean, just moving to Durban and going to Addington Primary, my performance was then motivated by the teachers and the principal at our school, who really motivated us to do well. Teachers who rewarded good performance, good behavior in school. Teachers who really couldn't sit and watch dormant potential in a child not on their watch. And I think that's a really important thing for me to highlight. I went to high school and I went to Durban Girls Secondary, and yeah, grade 8 was a really terrible year for me. Not terrible, but like I wilded out in grade 8. But that's a video for another day. Good times though. Good times. Looking at how Addington festered a culture of performance, of doing well, of being diligent in terms of how you do your schoolwork, how you perform in school, and also just looking at extracurricular activities as well, outside of just academic performances. That really inspired me, and that really laid a really solid foundation for me as a child. And so I've always attended awards day, yeah, which is a huge privilege now just looking back at it, because at every single awards day, caliber of people who used to come and speak to us at these awards days was really motivating for me. And I would sit there and be like, okay, wow, this person was actually able to beat the odds. And at times you'd have speakers who actually had a similar background to mine, and I would be motivated and I would be inspired by that. And that for me, I think, is a huge privilege, to be able to sit in an awards day and to have people come and speak to you about their journeys in the most authentic way, where we were really able to connect with them because I was able to relate to some of their stories. And so for me, doing well in school and focusing on my books was really an escape for me. As I mentioned in my previous video, I come from a huge family, so my time alone was really with my books most of the time as a child. And so doing well in school was really something that I took pride in. and I really liked making my mom proud as well, my dad proud. My dad, he's always been of the notion that upasa, whether upasa with 50 or upasa with 80, upasa. And yeah, so fast forward to high school, again, always performing well. I think in grade 8 I was third in the grade. Grade 9 I was second in the grade, and then in grade 10 I was one of 2 students who were awarded with the first official full academic colors in the school. Now, we had students or girls in the previous years who had an aggregate of 80 and above in the academic year, but when I was in grade 10 it was rolled out, well, not grade 10, it was the awards ceremony in grade 11 for our previous year's performance, or my grade 10 performance. And it was such a humbling experience for me. And I think also, even throughout the years, my performance in school was never about achieving a specific title. Like I never went into the year saying, okay, this year I want to be first in class. That was never one of my goals. My goal was to do well, and I would give myself realistic goals for each. I would make goals for myself and work towards those goals. But it was never about getting a specific position in the class, in the grade. That was never I was never interested in any of that. I just wanted to do well according to my terms. So yeah, that happened, and then, which is a really humbling experience. Really humbling experience. I remember crying at the award ceremony because I was never expecting that. It wasn't, I cried. And that was on a Friday. I remember the award ceremony was on a Friday, and then the following Monday we had assembly on Monday morning, and the principal again called me, and I'm not sure if she'd be comfortable with me saying her name, but she's a good friend of mine now. And we got up there, and again I bawled. I was crying, which is nothing new for people who know me personally. I cry all the time. I cry when I'm hungry, I cry when I'm sad, I cry when I'm happy. But anyway, yeah, a really humbling experience for me. And then the pressure of performing well came now when I was in grade 11, because now I was like, okay, fine, I have these full academic colors. What does this mean now for me for the following year? If I don't get an aggregate of over 80%, does this mean that they're going to tell me to remove them? Are they going to strip them off me? So then I was motivated to do even well the following year, and I did work hard, and I did get my over 80% aggregate again, but then Matric came, and I remember starting off the year. I remember buying the newspaper, the Matric results newspaper. When I started my grade 11, I had started collecting Matric results, because I had a cousin, if I'm not mistaken, I had a cousin who was in Matric that year as well, and I had a few friends. So I bought the newspaper, and I was seeing their names, and it was a cool experience. I wanted to set realistic goals for myself as well, because I was looking at the people that I knew who were performing really well at the school. I was looking at friends, and I was trying to gauge from there about, okay, if this person was able to get this type of results, or that person who I know performs really well was able to get this type of results, then maybe I can put myself at this specific bracket. So I did that when I was in grade 11. And then I also bought the newspaper again in 2014, in January, before we started our Matric year. So I had a file. So this file had clip outs of my school specific Matric results, class of 2012 and class of 2013. So I had clip outs of that, and I had highlighted. My friends who know me from Matric, and I think some of my classmates as well, could attest to this. If you guys remember, please comment down below. But I had a file, and my file had clip outs of the Matric results for those specific years, and I'd highlighted people that I knew and people that I looked up to in terms of their academic performances. So I had that highlighted, and I had set a goal for myself in terms of results that I think I was going to be able to attain. So honestly, I think I'd only set out for myself to get a minimum of 3 A's So there were 3 subjects that I knew for sure that I could get, which was isiZulu, life orientation, as well as business studies. I knew that I could, if I worked really hard, those are guaranteed A's for me. So yeah, so I had that down, and I was working towards that, and I worked tirelessly. I went to school early in the morning. So I was really fortunate as well in terms of having teachers in high school who really believed in me and my potential, and the opportunity as well to go and use their classrooms early in the morning. So a few friends of mine and a few classmates from Matric, we used to get to school really early. So before it was time for assembly, we were like in school around 7 o'clock or before 7 o'clock when we were writing tests, and we do extra remedial school work, and and we'd also spend the evening as well. After school, we'd spend time in school studying, helping each other out, and all of that. So I was just setting up the scene, guys, of my schooling career up until Matric. So Matric happened, and I matriculated with 6A's. I'll insert a video of the awards day, and that video still, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy and all those good feelings whenever I watch that video, because it was such a humbling experience. After matriculating, so I matriculated with 6A's, and because of my, so now back to the title of the video. What did matriculating with 6A's do for me? I think the first one and the most obvious one is giving me enough points to go and study what I had set out to study. So in Matric, I knew that I was going to UKZN. That's the only university I applied to, and this was really, really motivated by the fact that a lot of things that are happening personally in my family. When I was in Matric, my mom had moved back to Harding before I wrote my trial exams, which meant that I was with my siblings. We were alone with my siblings in Durban right before I wrote my trial exams and my final exams. So now imagine I am about to write the two most important sets of exams in a matriculant's life, and I am now running a household. And I really have God to thank for that as well, even for that experience that I learned about myself and the amount of responsibility that I can take on then. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, going into or looking into varsity, I knew that I couldn't move to Johannesburg or to Cape Town for my varsity. I needed to be in Durban for my siblings, which was the main influence or the main factor in me deciding to go to UKZN. And I wanted to study business science. That was my first option. I knew that I wanted to do business science and finance. So matriculating with 6A's awarded me the opportunity to go and study the course that I really wanted to go and study, because I had the points to go and study that course. That's the first thing. The second thing is the fact that, as I had mentioned in one of my previous videos as well, that I was able to apply for a bursary when I was in second year again. And I think a lot of people really don't realize how important our matric results are when it comes to things like that, because a lot of bursaries actually have in their T's and C's, or some of the requirements they have is that you need to have a specific amount or like a specific aggregate in terms of your results in matric when you apply for a bursary. So having the 6A's that I had in matric, I met those minimum requirements and I was able to apply. And then thirdly, getting it at UKZN and being awarded the Free Ngenwala scholarship as well was based on my matric results. Fast forward to now being able to apply for VAC work as land a job as well. Again, as I mentioned with the bursary as well, some of the requirements for the role or the graduate program that I was on required for you to have a specific aggregate as well in terms of your matric results. Now, to answer the title of the video, did matriculating with 6A set me up for life? The answer is no. It didn't, but it absolutely did allow me. It allows you to put your foot in the door, but a number of other things also matter outside of your matric results, such as your involvement in extracurricular activities, how you actually perform when you get to varsity as well could have a factor. But more than that as well, your personality and your desire to want to get something. I think a lot of people who grew up being children who really performed well in terms of the academics often find themselves really relying on that as one of the main factors that defines their self-identity or their self-worth. And I think it can be a slippery slope, and I think it's important for us to look at ourselves holistically and work on all parts or all spheres of our lives apart from just our academics. School is important, performing well in school is important, but work as well on your work ethic, on your discipline and all those things. And there are a number of other things that can help you with those type of skills or characteristics outside of just solely your academics. So, and I think even just going into varsity, I just continue to work hard as if I was doing it unto the Lord, doing it for the Lord, doing it to bring glory to God as well. Yeah, school's important. Stay in school, kids. School does matter, but it's not all there. There are a number of other things that people can work on outside of the academics if they struggle academically to do well and to stand out. And you can get the job even without having the marks that you think you need to have to qualify for that specific role. But if you have the desire and if you want to get it done, you will work on something outside of academics if that's not what you are really good at. School's important, guys. Stay in school, but don't beat yourself up too much about it. Yeah, man, I just wanted to make this video just to talk about my experience with performing well in matric and how that has really helped me, and I hope that helps you too. Thank you for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and please share the video with your friends. Let your friends tell their friends about it. Let your mama subscribe to my channel. Subscribing to the channel is free. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.